I thought I would play the standard London opening, so started with d4. Opponent played d5 and went with the standard bishop f4. Opponent developed his knight to c6. I went ahead with 3 to open up the bishop. Opponent developed his light squared bishop to f5. I slowly developed with knight to f3. Opponent developed his knight to f6. I went to develop the pawn to c4 to pressure the center as well as develop the knight behind the pawn. He captured the pawn and recaptured back with the bishop to open my king to king side castling. Opponent pushed his e-pawn to open up his light square development. I thought to play a3 here to stop the bishop before check. However, the opponent blundered with knight to b4. I simply captured the knight with my pawn. He captured the pawn with the bishop. I blocked the check with my knight. He brought the bishop back to d6. I thought instead of removing the dark squared bishop, I could put my knight in between. Opponent castle here. I took some time, but thought to play slow and castled myself as well. The opponent blundered here, putting his knight to g4. I captured the knight with my knight in the center. He captured my knight with a bishop, which I captured back with my queen. My plan was simple here. Exchange all the pieces as I was already up by a knight and a bishop. I captured the free pawn with a check. I pulled my queen back to h4. I wanted him to capture my bishop so that would open up the e-file where I could place my rook. He did not capture but pushed his kingside pawn. Brought my bishop back to b3 to place it on c2 to point towards kingside pawns. He brought his rook to the center. Quickly realizing that I can capture on g6, he pushed his f-pawn to f5. I thought now I can just exchange and captured his bishop. He captured back. I put my queen to g3 in hopes to exchange the queen as well. He slid his queen to c6. However, the queen and rook lined up and hence brought my bishop to a4. I missed pawn b5. However, the knight was protecting b5 square and I could capture the pawn. Brought his queen to e6 so that he could protect his rook with his queen. I took the rook and once the queen moved, captured the free pawn on c7. He brought his rook to attack my queen. I captured a7. He brought his rook back to a8. Free rook. I captured the same and now queen trade was inevitable. Now it was just promote a pawn and win.